Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Centuries of fairy tales have fed us the idea that we are the crown of creation, the final goal of the evolutionary race. We surrounded ourselves with gadgets and telescopes to look into the cosmos, believing we control the view. But the truth is, in this complex architecture of reality, we are the most limited users. We are taught to stand at a crossroads for years, trying to feel out that one sacred purpose. But the truth is, it does not exist in the form it is sold to us. The system wants us to choose one role, wear one mask, and play it until the end of our lives. Why? Because predictable parts are easier to manage. But life is a quantum theater. We are actors who have the right to change our persona daily. Today we burn with creativity, tomorrow we are inspired by cooking, and the day after we drop everything for something entirely new. This is our right to explore infinite scenarios. The only problem is that we are afraid to step onto the stage without someone else's permission. We get stuck in the wings, waiting for someone to nod and say, "Yes, now you are allowed to be different." Understand this. Our personal choice is the only document that confirms our rightness. We were trained to think of life as a straight line. School, university, a career in one niche. But in a multi-dimensional reality, the path is a fractal. We can simultaneously be artists, entrepreneurs, and truth seekers. When we strip ourselves of the obligation to find a purpose once and for all, we finally begin to live. A change of interests is a system upgrade. The fear of making a mistake paralyzes us. We seek approval from loved ones as insurance, so that if it doesn't work out, at least they allowed it. But in the quantum theater, there are no wrong roles. There are only those we haven't finished playing. Any experience, even if we drop it after a month, is woven into our unique code. Waiting for approval is the silent killer of talent. As long as we look back at relatives or friends, we are playing a role for them, not for ourselves. Our only obligation is to be true to the impulse that leads us today. Today, we often see videos where people literally scream about their pain. I started a blog. I started baking bread. I started sewing. But there is zero support from friends. A person posts something sincere, waits for a reaction from those they've known for years, and in response, silence. Meanwhile, total strangers from the internet write comments, repost, and give powerful feedback. Why does this happen? Truth is, friendship in the conventional sense is often a contract to maintain the status quo. Our new endeavor becomes a mirror for our loved ones, in which they see their own stagnation. Their ignoring is not a lack of interest in our content, but a defensive reaction of their psyche to our transformation. It is hardest for those close to us to accept our new version. They are used to seeing us in one role. When we step out of those boundaries, their brain switches on a filter. It is easier for them to pretend nothing is happening than to rebuild their entire perception of us. A stranger sees the result, but a loved one sees the audacity to change. For many, liking a friend who has started to grow means admitting, "He did it, and I didn't." It hits the ego. If we stay in the familiar swamp, we are safe. As soon as we start rowing toward the ocean, we highlight the inaction of those left on the shore. Silence is their way of keeping us at their level. Often friends justify themselves. "I don't like it because I'm not interested in this topic, sports, psychology, or cooking." But this is a system error. We are friends not because we love the same things, but because we value the person. If someone sets a condition, "I will support you only in what I understand," they are not supporting us, but their own interests in us. Strangers do not have a history with our old mask. For them, we are the energy we broadcast here and now. This is a test of strength. Are we ready to move forward if the rear remains silent? This vacuum is a natural filter of the system. Once we allow them not to like our posts and allow ourselves to continue, we move to a new frequency level. I will tell you a little about my path. My loved ones are not on my channel. This is not an accident, but a conscious choice. Being an empath, I feel people's states on a molecular level, and this taught me to strictly separate worlds. In ordinary communication, I never try to heal, teach, or forcibly pull anyone to my side. I simply adjust to the frequency of the person I'm talking to, discussing basic themes. Why? To preserve our common resource and, primarily, my own internal purity. If we seek approval from people living on a completely different frequency, we commit a system error. We voluntarily give our fragile sprout of a new business to be torn apart by those who simply don't know how to care for it. Real strength is the ability to build your world in silence. We often make the mistake of trying to save loved ones or share the light we've discovered. But if a person is in a different vibrational range, your light will blind and irritate them. I choose to speak to people in their language without flaunting my achievements as a challenge. This allows us to maintain human relationships without turning them into a battlefield of ideologies. When you are just starting something new, your idea is raw energy. Any skeptical question or a raised eyebrow from a loved one can become information poison. I do not initiate acquaintances into the details of my activity because I guard the purity of my intention. Your project needs growth, not a jury of relatives. The most powerful changes happen when you stop wasting energy on explanations. Build your world silently. When the building is finished, everyone will see it, and words will no longer be necessary. When someone says, "I'm not interested," they confuse the role of a content consumer with the role of a friend. A consumer chooses what they like. A friend supports the vector of your development. Setting conditions is a signal that friendship has turned into a market relationship. It says, "Your efforts have no value if they don't entertain me." This is a harsh filter showing you are only accepted in a form that is convenient for consumption. The lack of support from your old circle is the best indicator that you have truly changed. If they continued to like and approve of you, it would mean you are still theirs, still in the same old box. Silence from loved ones is a system confirmation. Attention, the object has moved to a new level. This is the point of no return. You cannot force a basement radio to catch a satellite signal. Trying to beg for a like or approval is the fastest way to drain your resource into a void. Vibrational separation is always accompanied by a period of vacuum. The old no longer resonates and the new environment has not yet formed. This is a technical necessity for calibrating your new state. We need to learn to let people go without drama. A vacant seat in the hall is an invitation for someone who will applaud sincerely. Your new frequency is your new home. Until a project or a new state has grown a thick, impenetrable skin, it must not pass through the filter of acquaintances. New states require hermetic sealing. In silence, the state strengthens and crystallizes into a core that no criticism can break later. Opinion is everywhere and often costs nothing. A fact is what is created in reality. Once a finished product is created or an audience is gathered, it becomes a fact. Any skeptic is powerless against a fact. Wait for a like, and you give the right to evaluate your worth to someone else. When we allow friends to be uninterested in our business, we take that remote control back. Being misunderstood is not a tragedy, but the natural price for the uniqueness of the path. Don't be afraid to lose those who aren't ready for your scale. It is much scarier to lose yourself trying to please those who will remain dissatisfied anyway. Be true to your impulse, and you will see how the world begins to rebuild itself around your new, true reality. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.